This is what happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
Israel launching retaliatory strikes inside Gaza and threatening more after accusing Hamas of violating their peace agreement.
14 narco-terrorists just became fish food.
These strikes are turning up the pressure on Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, along with a stepped-up U.S. military presence in the region. The Justice Department announced a $50 million reward for information leading to Maduro's arrest. A key U.S. senator warning on 60 Minutes, Maduro's running out of time.
President Trump is in South Korea this morning for the third and final stop on his tour of the region. The president's arrival last night came after North Korea announced it test-fired sea-to-surface cruise missiles off its western coast. Now, despite the escalation, South Korea's leader put on a lavish welcome for President Trump. You see it here, awarding him the country's highest honor as the pair are set to work on ironing out a trade deal. Meanwhile, attention is also on President Trump's highly anticipated meeting with China's leader Xi Jinping Thursday, a meeting the president is optimistic will garner results.
I think we're going to have a deal. I think it'll be a good deal for both. And that's really a great result. The world is watching. And I think we'll have something that's very exciting for everybody.
In the most consequential election the city has seen in recent memory, it's a race the whole country is watching. A new Suffolk University poll of likely voters shows him trailing Mamdani by 10 percentage points. And Gothamist crunched some numbers, did some analysis of early voting data. And what Gothamist came up with is that more than half of those who voted early this weekend are 55 and older. Experts say that could be an encouraging sign for Cuomo.
The Jersey gubernatorial candidate, Sherrill, taking her campaign on the road. The Democrat just kicked off a bus tour called Driving Down Costs. Sherrill launched the event in Bloomfield and plans to chat with voters in each of the state's 21 counties in the coming days. Meanwhile, Republican Jack Ciattarelli has a full plate on his own.
His diner tour continued this morning in Madison, and later today, Ciattarelli will be in Camden and Gloucester counties, hosting 2 rallies for early voting.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily. Today is October 29th, 2025, Anno Domini. The American Stasi. Now, we've done enough programs here on Human Events Daily fighting against the FBI's reckless work and reckless, just complete disdain for the law and disdain for political opponents and targeting political opponents last year. And now we've got the receipts. I want to get into all of that today, and we will with a J6er himself who will be joining us. I want to tell you right now, by the way, that before I forget, tonight, the big party is on down in Ole Miss, and huge event tonight. If you can't be there, make sure you are watching this. Make sure you're locked in. JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States, along with Erika Kirk, our CEO at Turning Point USA, are going to be on stage together down at Ole Miss. So today is the day that Charlie would have been there. This, of course, was at the University of Mississippi, right there in Jackson, and this would have been when Charlie was arriving. This is obviously his new. We've reformatted the tour, and it's incredible to see Vice President JD Vance and the new CEO of Turning Point USA, Erika Kirk, will be appearing live. And I'm told the vice president, at least, will be taking questions. Not sure if Erika will take questions or not. We'll have to see exactly how the format goes. But it's incredible that they're both going to be there. And as far as I know, I've checked in on this. As far as I know, this might be the first time that Erika has done a campus tour before or a campus stop like this. So it's really going to be interesting. And obviously, you know, she'd done so many events with Charlie, but this will be one of the first times. So people really need to tune in tonight. I believe it starts around 7 o'clock. And so make sure you tune in. I'm, of course, going to share that across my social media profiles. And it's going to be great. And God bless to everybody who's going to be out there. And don't worry, because we are taking everyone's security very, very seriously. working with multiple levels of police, with law enforcement, local, state, and yes, of course, federal, to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. And yes, of course, with the vice president there, Secret Service, it will also be indoors. Getting back to the FBI, we've uncovered, and I just been running through these 200 pages of documents that were released by House Judiciary Committee yesterday. One of the first things that popped out at me is very simple. Turning Point USA. And you go right there, you zoom right in, and it's what does it say? Chief Operating Officer of Turning Point USA. And that, of course, was and is Tyler Bowyer. Tyler is, of course, the COO of Turning Point Action. And you look, and his name is redacted, but we know it's him because they were going after him for what they called the quote-unquote electors scheme, which is something that Tyler was indicted for in Arizona. But here's what's interesting. They always claimed that this was just the state of Arizona, the same way they did it in Georgia, the same way they did it in, I believe, Wisconsin and Michigan as well. They always claimed that these were just state-level prosecutions. Well, now we have the facts. It was, in fact, the federal government, which we always knew, right? We always knew the feds were behind this. We always knew it was Biden. We always knew it was Chris Wray. We knew it all along. Jack Smith was the one who dug up this information. But then when he couldn't find a specific federal crime to go after them for, he passed it off to the Democrat AGs. So this was Jack Smith's plan all along to take the J6 operation, and that's what it was, ladies and gentlemen, operation, and move it forward just like the Stasi. And just like the Stasi in East Berlin and East Germany, after the Berlin Wall fell, you could go and request your surveillance file from the Stasi, find out who they were spying on and what cases they were looking at their political enemies for. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You better be interested in communist revolutions because you're in one. Be right back. Human Events Daily.